The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
Kelly's Court is back in session. On the docket today, show me the money. Donald Trump is now demanding through his lawyers that liberal comedian Bill Maher fork over $5 million. Maher promised to give Mr. Trump after challenging him on The Tonight Show. Listen.
We did a new rule 1 week that supposed that perhaps Donald Trump had been the spawn of his mother having sex with an orangutan. Unless he comes up with proof, I'm willing to offer $5 million to Donald Trump.
$5 million.
If he will come, that he can donate to a charity of his choice.
Well, Mr. Trump has now proved Maher wrong by releasing his birth certificate and says now that he is prepared to sue Bill Maher if he does not receive said check for $5 million to the charities of his choice. So could Maher really be on the hook for $5 million? Joining me now, Mark Eiglarsh, former prosecutor, now defense attorney, and Brian Claypool, who is also a defense attorney. This is great because Donald Trump sends him a letter through his lawyer, which reads, attached here too is a copy of Mr. Trump's birth certificate demonstrating that he is the son of Fred Trump, not an orangutan. Please remit the $5 million to Mr. Trump immediately, and he will ensure that the money be donated to the following 5 charities in equal amounts.
Now the record's clear.
And there's Donald Trump's birth certificate showing that he is the son of Fred Trump, as they say, quote, not an orangutan. I start with you on this, Brian. Does Maher owe Trump the money?
He owes him the money, Megyn. Here's why. The sole issue in this dispute is whether Maher's comment amounts to a legally enforceable offer. And in order to determine that, you've got to look into the mind of Donald Trump. Did he have a reasonable belief that what Maher offered was legitimate? And I say he does because Mark's going to get on and say, well, this was just humor. It was just in jest. But in order to determine whether it was in jest, Megyn, you look into the mind of Trump, not Maher. It's not subjectively what Maher was intending to do. And what Maher did here is he was advancing a political agenda. It was character assassination on Trump. He was challenging him to produce the birth certificate because Trump had made that comment to Obama early on.
This followed up Trump's offer during the election saying if Barack Obama opens up and gives his college records and applications and gives his passport applications and records, I'll give $5 million to a charity of his choice, which was a serious offer, Mark. So does that somehow make Bill Maher's offer any more serious?
No. Let me address only those who don't have a sense of humor, because those who do understand this is comedy. This is what comics do. They don't just tell knock-knock jokes. It comes in this form. Those who don't have a sense of humor, again, are y'all sitting down? Here, I did some research, and I'm going to show you why this was merely a joke and comedy. Because it says right here, apparently, humans cannot breed with orangutans. Megyn, I move to dismiss. I move for sanctions. This is frivolous. I want legal fees, and I want a hug and an apology.
The fact that it is impossible doesn't mean that Maher was expecting Trump to come forward with said proof of the impossible. I mean, I suppose... Go ahead, Brian, you go.
Yeah, Megyn, this doesn't have anything to do with the orangutan. It has to do with what Trump interpreted to be a challenge about this birth certificate. What Maher meant was, well, Obama was never going to produce his birth certificate to the whole country. Hello? So Trump's not going to do this either. He's not going to do this either. So, hey, Mark, I got a blank check for you right here. I got a blank check for you.
Humorless alert.
I'm going to write in an amount for you and your wife to go to any place you want to go in Miami for dinner. I'm going to buy you courtside tickets to the Heat playoff game if you promise not to interrupt me on the next show. Now, with that,
Let me interrupt to say this.
Then I wouldn't get a word in edgewise.
I think we have the legal standard wrong. This is not going to be judged by Trump's mind. It's going to be judged by the objective, reasonable observer. And
Megyn, thank you. It's called reasonable intent of the parties. So the question is, if you watch the entire clip, which I did, and I don't know if my zealous advocate did, but it lasts about 2 minutes long, and you can clearly see from the context that he had no intent to actually pay him off. It's no different than a drunk guy yelling in the bar, "I'll give you $1 million if you guess what band sings this song."
And we'll leave it at that.
The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.